sorry, YouTubing is difficult. And if you don't believe me, check out my video where I talk about what nobody ever tells you as a YouTuber. But when I tell you that I like tried to like refilm my intro 3 times, and then on the 4th time it was perfect, and my phone just like had a whole spasm and it didn't save any of it, I'm going to die. But anyways, play my intro in the Hi guys, sorry. The start of this video was definitely rough. All I can hope is that my phone doesn't have a spasm again. So this is actually the 2nd video in my glow up series on YouTube. If you haven't seen the first one, then check it out. It'll be floating around in the iCards. Sad news, painful news. I hate to break it to my beautiful viewers, but although that video was made 3 months ago, I technically only started my glow up process a month ago. And that is why in this video, I will be talking about tips on how to stay consistent when you are trying to glow up, how to actually like progress and get to the person that you want to be. Because it's very, very easy to get all glammed up, sit down and write one nice little thought passage about yourself and have one day of nice, cool planning and schedule making and productivity. But if you don't keep up with that shit, the next day you back to square one, and then you got about another month of being like a half-baked potato. I am here to try and help my best because it's been a month, and I can say with mucho success that I am now a month into my glow up process, and I can feel it. It's been felt. I know what I'm doing, and it's amazing. Number 1, you have to build habits. If you're trying to get to this new person, this new fancy person that you see in your brain, you've got to build habits to get there. Like, yes, you manifest, use all these tools that I taught you about in my first video, but you've also got to build habits and actually get to that person. Like, let's say one of your things is, I really, really want to be active. You don't just sit on the couch like a couch potato dreaming about being active. It don't work that way, mamita. You're like, I really want to be active. I'm going to go for a 10-minute walk every single day. And manifest it. I am active, I'm active, I'm active. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, because you want to, actually, weirdest thing, you're going to start to want that walk to become 20 minutes, then 30 minutes, then an hour. And then before you knew it, you're like out all day, and it's the best time of your life. So you have to start building habits in order to start changing your lifestyle. You have to. There's like no way around it. Now, the sad thing about habits is that it takes about 21 days of doing that same thing every single day for it to become a habit and for it to become something that your body and brain naturally feels like you need to do it, or else you can't sleep and you're out of whack. The offset is that it only takes like a week to break that habit and revert back to a french fry. So I think this just goes to prove that life is fluid and it is hard, okay? So if we're in a slump and we were on top of our shit yesterday, that is okay. That is normal. Be mindful of your coping mechanisms and make sure that you are taking care of yourself. Make sure that you are practicing self-care and self-love, because that is the most important thing. If anything that you take away from pretty much all of my videos is that you need to be doing what makes you happy. Definitely you need to start building habits. You got to sit down with yourself and be like, who is it that I want to be? Okay. And now break that person apart and take those habits, whatever habits that it is that person in your brain, future you has, start building them now. Start building them now. So then when you get to the future, you know, like let's say you're like, when I'm 25, I want to be this active person. You get to like 24.75 and you're like, I can't see myself going hiking at all. That's not happening. Right? But if you start when you're like 20, You've got 4 years worth of, I'm going to start going on 10 minutes walks. And then before you know it, you're at 24/75 and you're like, oh, I mean, yeah, I want to go fucking hiking. Let's freaking do it. Because like now it's not even a task anymore. That's just what you enjoy. You wanted to be active. You know, put that habit in your lifestyle little by little. It becomes something so much bigger than what it was originally. So definitely start building those healthy habits that are going to get you to where you want to be, to where you see yourself being in the future. Number 2, which kind of goes hand in hand with this habit creation. Now, a lot of people don't know where to start with habits, even if they have this vision of themselves in the future. They kind of, it gets lost. Like if you're this person who's like, I want to run a marathon, you're going to think to yourself, that's a huge, gigantic feat. I don't know what the habits are. What are the habits? I wouldn't know because I'm not there yet, which bullshit. If you're running a marathon, obviously you're going to be walking at least 5 minutes a day until you get there. You're going to be working out. You're going to be building muscle. If you want to be skinny, you know, in your future, you're going to start walking more. You're probably going to take in a little bit more salads and a little less chocolate. And then before you know it, chocolate won't have that much appeal. Now, am I there? Definitely not, because let me tell you, chocolate slaps like a motherfucker.
Chocolate. Chocolate. Yeah. Chocolate.
The way that you can go to find out building these healthy habits, and 9 out of 10 times this person that you want to be in the future, believe it or not, is kind of related to the person that you were in the beginning of your life. Like I see myself in the future being this like super active person, which is why I keep using that example, because that's like me, that's my example. I want to be this like woman who goes on like morning jogs and like has all the water and lives in a fancy house and has a husband who sometimes she jogs with, who's just like looking fucking spicy up in this joint, you know, has his own little athleisure type thing. I'm sorry, I just started thinking about my future husband and like that got me excited. And yes, I have a vague idea of what he looks like. And no, I'm not telling you because that's my business, boy.
Are you crazy? That shit is so disrespectful.
I have this amazing vision of myself, like of who I want to be in the future. And you know, I look back to my childhood and as a kid, I was literally taken everywhere. Like I went on so many adventures, and I think also as a kid, a trip ride to the hospital with my grandmother felt like a whole fucking excursion, because you're like 5 years old and to go on a bus and then another bus and then walk, and like that was a whole fucking journey for me and my little wooden dog that I carried around. But it felt like so much fun. It felt like I was an adventurer. It felt like I'm a fucking, you know, queen of activity and like, you know, and obviously you're a kid, you start, you know, have all these scenarios of make-believe. I'm like, I'm a pirate, I'm a this, I'm a that. But it's literally like, they're very, very similar. And I think that in essence, then you want to build habits that your younger self would also enjoy, right? So I look to my past and I loved going outside. I see my childhood as something that was very, very happy because I was always out and about. I had a happy childhood and I was always out and about. Therefore, now my developed brain associates happiness with always being out. And I can stay inside, but only if I've been out an adequate amount. Like I can only relax at home if my body is in pain, because then it's like, okay, no, I need to relax. So number 2 would definitely be look to your childhood for the answers of how to build these habits and find these habits. So those two kind of go together. Okay, so number 3, once you've got your habits, once you've looked back into your childhood and you've got this new sense of insight of almost like, okay, I kind of know what I want now. I kind of know more or less what makes me happy. Now it's time to figure it out and refine it. It's time to try all these new things in the realm of happiness, because as much as I said that a lot of the answers are in your childhood, a lot of those answers are also, they start to get a little nuanced, right? You know, I myself said I like to be out, I need to be outside, but also even if, you know, I don't necessarily go outside, if I'm inside and I'm doing YouTube video, or I'm working on fashion, or I am writing something because I'm a writer, or practicing for an audition, my mind feels like it's left. Like it feels like it's gone places even though my body hasn't. And so for me, I think it's just being active in all the senses of the word, spiritually, mentally, physically, like everything. I just want to try and be like a very like active, imaginative, like human being. Moving on to number 3, which was plan shit out. Now I mentioned this last time, but planning shit is literally like the mecca of amazingness. Now I have this right here. This is my bullet journal. Now I know everybody doesn't have a bullet journal, and I know not everybody will like to do things like this, but this is my shit, bro. Look at this Juno's fucking like Friends theme. Y'all, I fucks with this on the heavy, bro. This is where I am right now. It's like water themed. And then August is coming, and like, look at that, that's so freaking cute. I plan out all my shit there. And I also even have tabs for literally every single day of the month. I track my mood, right? So the day will pass, I'll wake up the next morning, I'll look at my book, and I'll be like, it was a shitty day, or it was a good day. And I'll track, and then I'll see, okay, why wasn't it a good day today? What happened? Was it my reaction? Now, I'm not gonna do that every single day, because like I said, sometimes you just, you know, doing work like that, really checking in on yourself, the self-exploration and self-reflection, it becomes dicey sometimes, and it becomes hard work sometimes that you don't want to do. But keeping a planner and just, you know, making notes of how everything was, I can be like, okay, this is how it was, throw my planner on the corner, move on with my day. And then like at the end of the week, when I'm back to being a couch potato and I have nothing to do, I'll pull out my book and I'll be like, so Wednesday was a really weird day for me. Let's unpack that right now, since I don't have anything else to do and I'm looking for something to do. So I've found that, like, you know, a planner like this is the best, honestly. Like, it helps me with schedule making, it helps me with planning. Like, it also lets me use my creativity, because like I said, this is one of my favorite months. It just makes me feel like so much more hopeful for the future. So I would definitely encourage you guys to start planning out your days, and tracking your days is the most important thing. You don't have to plan everything out, because some people aren't planners, but you should be tracking your moods, and you should be like taking note of what makes you happy on a day-to-day basis, because it is important, and it will help you further create events that will give you that same sense of abundance and happiness. So I can tell you that since I started this glow up process for real, it's been a month, right? So it's the beginning of July. I've only had 4 bad days. That's not a lot. So I would definitely encourage you guys to start planning out in the way that feels right to you, because not everybody will like bujos, and not everyone will be okay with trying to build an aesthetic. I know some people feel like finding the aesthetic is one of the hardest parts and the most time-consuming parts, which will then make it hard for you to literally do a month-to-month thing, because that's too much pressure, which I thought I would fall into that category, and in the beginning I kind of did, but then I was like, you know what, who cares? Some of the themes are lazier than the others. Like August that's coming up is kind of lazy, I ain't even gonna hold you. Like, what the fuck is this shit? This shit looks like it's all over the place. But you know what? It gets the job done, and it makes me happy. Like, it looks bad, but it also looks kind of good. I mean, to me personally. Hey guys, editing Kayci here. Originally, I was gonna make this a 2-part video where you actually get to see me physically glow up. But the video right now is like at 14 minutes and it's already pretty lengthy. So I figured, you know what? I will do my glow up process in next week's video. So make sure you stay tuned for my glow up series. But until then, arrivederci.